Hey everyone, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you've had a good Monday, that your weekend was all right, that it was restful, most importantly. I really enjoyed reading the work that you did on the course timeline and in your journal entries. I've provided feedback on those over the past few days. Finished that up this morning. If you've submitted your work since this afternoon, I may not have seen it yet, so don't worry. I will give you feedback as soon as I get the chance. Also, that's to say that if you missed any of the assignments, you weren't able to get them in by Sunday when Unit 2 ended, you can still submit those for credit. So please do that. Please let me know if you're struggling with the timeline, with Tiki-Taki, if you're not sure what to do. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer questions. And again, I really enjoyed reading your ideas and thoughts about the major institutions that shaped colonial Latin America, mostly the church, the military, and of course the imperial government from Spain or Portugal. And thinking about how those things changed with independence while still not changing that much. The criollos, the white Europeans essentially who had been born in the Americas but descended from European parentage for the most part, those people held a lot of power and authority in the newly independent nations. And even though, as many of you pointed out, they made promises and concessions to people of color, to enslaved people, mostly Africans who had been brought over in the slave trade, to indigenous people, or to people of poor economic means, in order to get their support for independence. The new independent governments that came about afterwards, even though they claimed to support the rights of all Americanos, even though they claimed, everyone is a citizen and we all share in this alike, and there is equality, that equality was a bit more nominal than in practice. And I mean, that's not that different in some ways. The terms were different, but the kind of reality was pretty similar to what we see in American history, in U.S. history. And so just some things to think about as we leave Unit 2 and move to Unit 3. In this announcement, I just wanted to point out that I've done something a little different with Unit 3. I'm just barely putting it in place this evening. So if you've already been looking at Unit 3 assignments, go back and look at the alternate assignments that I've put in place. I have a video there to explain a little bit more about why I've added some of these alternate assignments and what your options are. Essentially, if you want, instead of doing the reading tweets or the timeline or the journal, you can instead do this alternate assignment on the discussion board where you evaluate the assignment as written in terms of what its purpose is and whether or not it's achieving that purpose. And here's where you have a space in our class to say, here's what I would change about this assignment and why you would make that change. What I'm thinking about, what I'm shooting for here is to give you a voice in our class. I've been reading a lot of critical pedagogy, been thinking a lot about what makes the most effective teaching and learning, what will help us all learn and have a stronger classroom community, be engaged with modern Latin American history. And one of the ways of doing that is by giving some room for you to shape our course, to put your voice into it, to see that this is your learning opportunity. Of course, you're going to get a grade. Of course, I've made this so that you get points for assignments. But hopefully that's not what this is about. Hopefully this is about you being able to learn something meaningful about Latin America's history that will enrich your lives in some way, shape, or form. And so with that in mind, then I invite you to, if you want to, engage in those alternate assignments where you have that opportunity to inject your voice. Or if you're not really interested in that, you can just complete the assignments as they were originally written. As is always the case, let me know if you have questions, concerns, need any help. I'm always here. I'm happy to help. And by always, I mean, I take some breaks and I get back to email. But I try to be as responsive as I can be. So, all right. Hope you're having a good evening, and I will talk to you soon.